Hello. How is everybody? Let me change my camera quick. Howie, how are you?
Hey, there we go. Good.
Good to see you. Thank you for joining us today.
I see your name is Clarity Now. I love it.
Thank you. My wife named it. Let me change it for you guys too, so you guys have my name here. It's funny when I don't know if you guys experience this, but my camera always needs to be adjusted when I first come into Zoom. Never like
Mhm.
correct the first time. There you go. Now it's correct. Okay, let me put my name in here. Okay. All right. Cool. There you go. Jeremy Herman, Clarity Now. We'll
Got
give
it, guys.
everybody a moment to get in here. As you guys know, it usually takes a couple of minutes for people to get on board, but I'm super glad to be here with you guys. Obviously, we got introduced to you guys through Icenhower, and it's been a great partnership with us. I think they're an incredible company, some incredible coaches. So thank you for taking the time to be here. If you guys don't mind, as you guys come in, I love engagement. I love cameras on if you're able to. If you're not able to, that's certainly okay. But if you can, put your camera on. I like the energy, frankly. It's a little just a better webinar. I don't think anyone really wants to see me talk for an hour. So I like high engagement. If you guys are able to, that'd be awesome. Other thing I always say at the beginning of every webinar that I think is important is what's most personal is most universal. What's most personal is most universal. And what that really means to me, anyways, is if something matters to you, I promise it also matters to other people. So if you have a question, if you have a thought, if you have an idea, I 100% welcome you guys to come off mute and chime in. And as we go through this, I'll also ask you guys, like, what are your takeaways? What did you get out of this? What questions do you guys have? So feel free to engage as much as you can. Quick little background on me while we wait for the last couple of minutes before we dive in is I've been in real estate for 20 years. So I got my real estate license before I finished high school, and I'm now 38. So all I've done is real estate in some capacity, and I've done it a lot of different things inside the business. But the last 8 to 9 years, I've also been a coach, and I coach only a handful of people today, but some pretty big organizations. I think the top team does probably 300-ish million a year in Philadelphia. And in coaching, I think numbers are really, really, really important in business. And I think the reality is that most agents, hopefully it's not you guys, that most agents just suck at knowing their numbers. They just don't know the numbers as well as they should. You guys are professional agents. You're not professional spreadsheet makers, right? And most spreadsheets just aren't very good and they break. So I created a spreadsheet that was good, and frankly, my friend and co-founder, who spent the last 5, 6 years turning my spreadsheet into what is now today ClarityNow. So what I've experienced in coaching is last week you guys did the business planning webinar through Icenhower, which I thought was great, by the way, some great tools for you. And I trust that you guys have created kind of the baseline of a business plan. And what I've experienced is a lot of times people have a goal and they miss it. And they miss it because if there's one industry where there's an opportunity to squirrel, it's real estate. So, so we have a tendency to hop around to a lot of different things throughout the year and shiny objects, and we lose focus and we don't know our numbers, we don't know where we stand. And what I want to go through with you guys today is really a framework of how to operate a business. I know we have some great business owners here, so I'd love to hear you guys' feedback as we go through it. And I'm going to share my screen as we dive in here. Tyler, if you don't mind, let people in as they come in. Actually, I think they're coming in automatically, so you should be good. Let me show you guys what we came up with. I've only taught this a couple of times, so this is you're experiencing this with me, which I'm excited about. And close this one here. Okay, so this is called the Advanced Business Framework for High Performing Agents and Teams. So it's not just teams, it's really for everybody. It's really for business owners. If you have a team, you're an owner. If you're an individual agent, you're a business owner too. But I want you guys to think about this really more as a decision-making operating system. Because that's the challenge, right? We all know how to sell real estate, but we don't always know how to operate our business and how to, what we should be focused on every single day. That's what we're going to go through. And it all stems, the framework is actually this. And I'll walk you guys through this here. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay. This is the framework that we're going to walk through today. And the foundation of a business, in my opinion, is to create a business plan that's based on net profit. You guys talked about it a bit on the Icenhower call, but I think that the majority of real estate agents, they build plans wrong. And that might be a little controversial. You guys will see my presentation style is very much just me, so I can be direct and hope you guys are cool with that. Um, if you ask 10 agents or 100 agents, what's your plan or what's your goal, they're going to respond with either a unit, a volume, or a GCI number. Almost always. Right? So if I ask, Rita, what's your goal? And you say, I want to do 100 sales this year. And I say, great. If you do 100 sales this year, did you win? And she would say, yes, absolutely. I'll say, great. If you do 100 sales but only net 80 grand for your family, is that still a win? And she would say, well, no. I would assume that the answer is no to that. So the unit volume and GCI are frankly irrelevant. We have to build plans based on net. To me, that is the most important part of any business is to, net the number that you desire. I'll come off screen here or come back on screen here quick. And there's only a handful of people here. I always wish there's more. But the reality is this is a tough job. Selling real estate is not an easy job. It's a hard thing, right? There's a lot of agents, there's a lot of competition, there's only so many sales every single year. If your goal in your business is to break even financially, right, which I trust is not, right? So if you spend 10,000 a month and I need $120,000 a year to run my lifestyle and I end up making $120,000 a year through selling real estate, so I'm a net break even in my life financially, there's just easier things to go do than sell real estate. that have a better work-life balance. So the goal for all of you guys, I trust, is not to break even financially, it's to actually make more than you spend and get ahead financially. Thumbs up on that? We all agree? How you're the only one, so I'm looking at you for a thumbs up. Thank you. If you guys can come off a screen share, I think it's better if you guys can be seen. So the point in all this is to get ahead. So Andrea, thank you. Bobby, thank you. Appreciate that. All right. So the first part, building a business plan. I'm going to show you guys how to do this in Clarity Now. And I want you guys to know that it's not about Clarity Now. It's about how to run a business. So if you guys can do this in your spreadsheets, if you guys are great with what you guys currently have, I love it. And if not, here's a tool that you guys can see. But the first step, business plan. I'll show you guys how this works. Log in. I'll probably show you guys a couple accounts. I might hop around a little bit. This is a demo account that I can play with, and I'll show you guys a real account that's got real data. It's a little more representative of what you guys experience. The first thing is we want to build the plan off net. So the first question is it works for everybody. It's do you own a team? Are you on a team or are you an individual agent? So again, no matter who you are, it works. I'm going to show you guys I own a team. Okay. Which all those models are almost identical. There's only one page that's different. I'll show you what that is. The first question is what it should be. How much money do you want to net? Okay, let's say I own a team and I want to net $500,000 and my average sales price is 390 and my average commission amount is, let's say it's 11,000 bucks. Okay. Next, what are your conversion ratios? What percentage of listing appointments that you go on will actually get signed? Well, let's say for the company, it's going to be around 80%. And what percentage of listings that you sign are actually going to close? Let's say that 85% of my listings sell, so 15% won't for whatever reason. And what percentage of your business is listing based? Let's say that we're a little heavy on the buy side, maybe 45% listing based, which means that 55% on the buy side. Conversion ratios on the buy side. On average, or sorry, what percentage of consults that you go on will sign a buyer's agreement? Maybe 75%. And what percentage of those that sign a buyer's agreement will actually buy a home? Let's call it 60. Okay, next. On average, what do you spend per month to operate your business? Not your lifestyle, just the business. Okay, I own a team in this example. Maybe I have a couple of admin, I have some lead gen, I have coaching, etc. And I spend, $25,000 a month when all is said and done, about $300,000 a year. We're broker agnostic. It works for everybody, but this is saying does your brokerage have a capping model? So is there a maximum amount that you pay your broker per year? If so, how much is it? If not, what percentage goes to your broker? So no matter who you are, it works. We have customers from everywhere. Let's say I do have a capping model and I pay $20,000 a year to my brokerage and I don't have any kind of franchise fee. Okay, this is the one slide that will be different. Whether you own a team, you're on a team, or you're an individual agent. And I'll explain why. I own a team. By the way, do me a favor. Go ahead and put in the chat box. Who are you? Do you own a team? Are you on a team? Are you an individual agent? Let's see quickly who's here. So if you guys don't mind, everyone go to the chat box and just tell me who you are. Howie, you own a team. Perfect. I'll wait for others to come in. Thank you. So Howie, since you own a team, and I'm not calling you directly, but speaking towards you, if you own a team and you're still in production, the way most teams operate is when you sell a house, you're not paying yourself the same split as all the other agents. Typically, what happens is all the money that you sell, all of your commission goes to the company, and you're making the profits left over, right? That's how most people operate. Some teams where the lead agent sells a house, they also receive a split and the rest goes to the company, but most teams don't operate that way. So this is saying, as the primary agent, how many listings are you personally going to sell and how many buyers are you personally going to sell? By the way, guys, thank you. Own a team, on a team. Shauna, you own a brokerage. Fantastic with teams in it. Great. Individual agent, agent, love it. Good job, guys. Let's say in this case, I'm still in production. I'll do 20 listings myself and I'll do 15 buyers. So sign me up. I'll still do 35 sales, but we're not going to hit this goal by me selling 100 homes myself, right? I'll do 35. Rest has to come from the team. And on average, I pay 35% on the listing side and I pay 50% on the buy side. If you're on a team, you will not see this question. And instead it says on average, what percentage do you get paid from your team? So it's speaking to you, what's your split? If you're an individual agent, you just won't see this at all because it's not applicable. So the main thing here is the unit production is going to be drastically impacted based on how many sales or splits are not being paid on, right? Okay, next. Do you have an ISA department or a showing assistant department? Is there any department within your company that makes a percentage of all sales? I'll say no. Okay, but if I did, maybe I do have an ISA department and 20% of all my sales are generated by the ISA team and they make 15% commission on average. So you could do it that way. In this case, I'll say no. How many referral fees and units? This is agent referrals. This is Zillows. This is Home Lights. These are all the things, right? Maybe I'll do 20 referrals at an average of 28%. And the last part is, do you pay like an admin bonus? Is there a transaction coordination company that you use? Maybe I pay $100 to my admin on every closed listing and on every closed buyer as just an admin bonus. Last part is breaking the goal down into seasonality. I think it's critical, absolutely critical to not just have an annual goal, but to work to hit the quarters, right? If you haven't heard this before, but you can't hit an annual goal before hitting a quarter goal. You can't hit a quarter goal before hitting a monthly goal. You can't hit a monthly goal without hitting a weekly goal, right? So the more you chunk it down, the better. The system's preset at 20, 30, 30, and 20 per quarter, but you can change that. Hit submit. Now, I have a business plan based on net. If I want to net 500,000, it's going to be 46.4 million in volume, about 1.3 in GCI. 119 units comprised of 54 listings and 65 buyers. I said I'll still do 20 listings and also do 15 buyers myself. So I'll also do the 35 with no splits, right? Therefore, if you do the math, I now have to have a team that can produce 34 listings and 50 buyers. So do you have the people that can accomplish 84 sales? Really becomes the question, right? We talked about recruiting a little bit on the Icenhower call. This is where a lot of teams fail. They don't have the people today to do 84 units. So by the way, if that's the case, create business plans for the future so you know what you need to recruit towards. My cost of sales determined. It's $503,000. I have my brokerage. I have my agent compensation, how much their agents are getting paid. I got 400 grand going to agent compensation. That's pretty cool, right? $60,000 in referral fees, about $12,000 in admin bonuses. That's 38.6%. I'll have $800,000 of gross profit, but I got to spend 300 grand to make this thing run. That's 23% of my total revenue. That got me back to my net number. I'll be 38% profitable in this model. And here's how many appointments that we have to go on as a company based on my conversion ratios. I got to go on 80 listing appointments to get 64 signed. Listen to how I say this. To get 64 signed to allow for 10 to not sell. Right? I always say it that way. Because if I said I'm going to take 64 and only allow for two to not sell, well, okay, well, maybe am I being too aggressive on my percentage of listings that will close ratio, right? 144 buyer consults to get 108 buyer agreements signed for 65 buyer sales. Now, if I go through this, I'm like, oh, smokes. I don't think I have the people that can do 84 units, right? Well, then tweak it. Maybe you need to tweak your personal production. Maybe you say, maybe 500 is not really important. What would 450 look like? But I'll go ahead and sell a few more homes myself. I really wanted to do 35 this year, but okay, maybe I'll do 30 listings and 18 buyers. So instead of doing 35, I'll do 48 sales, keeping everything else the same. I lowered my profit, I increased my production. Now it's 102 sales, and I only need 16 listings and 38 buyers from the team. Maybe that sounds better. So the point here, guys, the very first step is the foundation of any business, in my opinion. Create the plan based on profit that determines the production. Don't build a pointless production goal with profit being the afterthought. It's just stupid in my opinion. Again, blunt, but you're welcome. What are your takeaways from that first? Either chat box, come off mute. I'd love to hear some feedback on just the business planning part.
It helps give clarity to the activities needed because I think we all have these pie in the sky, goals like this is what I want, and it's not rooted in any like actual activities that we need to do.
Love that. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. Thank you. Shauna, you have a brokerage too. Howie, go ahead. But you have a brokerage. I'd love to hear your thought as well. Howie, what do you have to say, sir?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty simple, straightforward, easy to follow. So I like that.
Thank you. I don't know if this is embarrassing or impressive, but it took about a year to make that work. It was really hard. It was really
Mhm.
hard. Shauna, what you got?
Driving. Hopefully this is coming through to you. So
You're good.
yeah, I agree. This is 100% the clarity because everybody gets into this business with this idea that they're going to make their life and their lifestyle, a lot better. But what's better, paying the bills or having some profit behind that to make those actual dreams come true? So this putting that to paper.
I love it. Thank you. You cut out in the last sentence, and thank you. I know you're driving. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's good, good. So it sounds like we're all good then. So again, the first step, build the foundation. The next is the framework. It's how do we think about our business, okay? I'm gonna go back to my deck here. And this is gonna sound funny, but you probably haven't seen this before. At least the way that I describe this. I think this is fascinating though. And this really starts with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So hang on with me here, okay? Some of you guys may know this, some of you may not. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The way this works is that each section really has to be filled before I can go to the next, right? So physiological, safety, etc. Let's say that Andrea and I are having lunch. And in that moment, I'm currently in the esteem section, right? I have self-confidence, respect of others, we're having a good time having lunch, right? And I know that Andrea, she loves cheeseburgers. So we're at a cheeseburger joint. And I take a bite of my burger, and all of a sudden I start choking. It's true. I'm truly choking, right? My body instantly, without me having to make the decision or negotiate or think about it, I instantly drop down to physiological. I can't feel cool while I can't breathe. Right? Step one, breathe, then work my way back up. Does that make sense? The challenge is, again, this is just the direct statement here. The challenge is that a lot of agents' businesses are choking and they're not responding to it, right? And that goes to the business hierarchy of needs. There's a great author named Michael Michalowicz. Some of you guys may know some of his work. He has actually quite a few books that are really good. The one that a lot of you guys might know is called Profit First. Another one called The Pumpkin Plan. That's a good book. But this comes from his book called Fix This Next. And he created the business hierarchy of needs, which is the same concept, right? So the base, love that. They're joking. Thanks, Shauna. The base is sales. It's the creation of cash. That's the base, right? Then we can focus on stability, which is profit. Now, in our business, we're pretty fortunate. right? If our sales bucket is full, our profit bucket is usually probably pretty full too. That's not true in a lot of other industries, but these two buckets usually kind of go hand in hand. Next is efficiency, order. This is system creation, right? This is all the work that people hide in, right? When I say their business is choking, they're working on redoing their listing presentation when they have no listings, right? Their pendings suck and they're hanging out up here. That make you guys, I know you guys follow me with that. That makes total sense, right? The top part is the give, impact, and legacy. Your business has to earn the right to get there. And frankly, most real estate businesses never get there. Maybe in a moment, that's fine. But we really kind of hop between these three nonstop, right? The key here is your business has to earn the right to hang out in order. So the question is, how do I know if I deserve the right? It comes down to step one of the framework. Again, foundation, build a goal. Step one is we need to assess the business. Ideally, this is done weekly. Do it monthly at a minimum, at an absolute minimum. It really should be done weekly. I'm going to switch to a different account so you guys can see how this works with real data. Let me move this really fast, and I'll show you what I mean by assess. By the way, Shauna, since you're a broker specifically, I'm logging into my coach account, and here's all the accounts that I have access to. This would be the same thing like on an enterprise level. So here'd be all the agents in the office. Okay, so first thing I want to do in assessing the business is I need to check the financials. That's step one, right? There's two things I'm going to check. I'm going to check my cash flow and I'm going to check my P&L. So the way that's done in ClarityNow, and again, if your spreadsheets do this, I love it. Okay, that's totally cool. It's not about ClarityNow, it's about how to operate. In ClarityNow, there's a report called the CEO summary, and there's a report in this dropdown called the projected net profits. This is really, really, really important. I think arguably the most important report in the system is for running a business. That's why it's the first step in the assess. What this does, this is a real account here, guys. It takes the person's pending gross profit, not GCI, because I don't care about that, right? I could have $1 million of GCI and $10,000 of gross profit. I care about the 10,000, not the million, right? Then it takes my closed gross profit and it totals it up. I got about $45,000 of gross profit in November. In the economic model that we did, we said we'd spend around $25,000 a month. This person spends about $12,000 a month. So whatever you put in the estimated expenses automatically goes here. The column that matters is this. What is your estimated net? If I'm bringing in 45 and I'm going to spend 12, I know that we're going to net around $33,000 in November. Looks like we're netting around 60 grand in December. And going into January, right now we're losing $12,000 in January because we don't have anything pending yet. Right? So step one in assessing, how's your cash flow look? If I'm this owner and I look at this and I go, all right, well, we're making pretty good money in November. December, we're closing the year super strong. I'm probably feeling pretty good about my cash flow at the moment. Yes, we're losing 12 grand in December. And, for this business, he's just starting to sell for January. I said December, I meant January. So step one, assess the cash flow. The next thing that you want to do is look at the P&L. We're really proud of this because, again, as a coach, I think that agents just struggle in this. If you ask 100 agents, should you have a P&L? I would guess that 100 will say yes. And I would also guess that maybe 10 actually do. And it's because they're hard to build, right? Even for some agents that use QuickBooks for their P&L, this may be a little controversial. I don't think it is, but a lot of times the QuickBooks P&Ls are wrong. And they're wrong because it's an accounting P&L. It's not a real estate P&L. QuickBooks oftentimes picks up on the gross profit. It's not seeing the top line GCI and your cost of sales, right? But as a real estate business, I got to see the top line revenue, how much we made in listing income and buyer income, and how much my agents got paid and who got paid what, how much I paid the broker, referral fees, what was my total cost of sale, what percentage of cost of sale was that for that month, and then what is my gross profit. Then go down to the 9 categories in our P&L. How much is compensation, lead gen, occupancy, coaching, etc.? What percentage of revenue was that month? In here, I want to look for discrepancies. So part of assessing, here's a great example. If I look at this person typically spends, $4,000 to $5,000 or so in lead gen every month. But we went from 38, 4,200, 3,100, 4,200, 3,800 to 6,000 in August. How do we spend $6,000 in August in lead gen? Well, let's go to the financial breakdown and I can look at lead gen, look at August, and scroll down until I see they have a lot of line items here, it looks like. But let's see, where is it? Here it is. They spent $2,600 on a client appreciation night, I guess. All right, cool. Right. So when I'm thinking about assessing the business, I want to look at my cash flow and I want to look at my P&L. Where can I get more efficient in my spending? What trends am I seeing? Are there any outliers in here? That's all part of the assess. The next step, I'll stop there really fast. The financials is huge. Give me a thought, question, comment, something on just that first part of assessing the financials. Someone put in the chat box, come off mute, thumbs up, how we love it. That makes total sense, right? We got to start there. All right, cool. The second part, I love this. This part is one of my favorite parts in the system, and no other tool has this. I think it's absolutely critical, especially if you, well, not especially if, it's for everybody. It's called the goal gap, but it stems from this. This is so important. It's called the business information. It's part of every ClarityNow account, which is what is your average contract to close? How long does it take you to go from I got a listing signed to it's live on the market? And then what are my average days on market? Right? For this client, it's 45, 3, and 21. What we do here in the system is we add up these three numbers, subtract it from December 31st, and we populate what's called a goal gap report, which tells me very clearly that I have 88 days left to sell for properties that can close in Q1 of 2026. Cool, we just started 88 days. Quarter typically has 90-ish, right? So we just started selling for Q1. That's why earlier in the assessment for cash flow, I wasn't nervous about January yet because we just started selling for January, right? However, I only have 65 days left to take a listing that can close in Q1. And that's because it takes 3 days to make a listing go live and 21 days on market. Agents, they forget about that part. They only think about the closing year. They don't think about what we call the activities year, right? For this business, his last day to take a listing that can close in 2026 is October 22nd. Everything beyond October 22nd is 2027 work, right? So now what this is going to do is taking this person's 2026 business plan, their economic model, and it's breaking it down into the quarter goals, the seasonality that was on that one screen. And it says that for Q1, we got to get 16 listings signed. Right now in the system, we've signed 3. For Q1, we need 26 closings for 5.1 million, and they've yet to put anything pending for 2026. They have 0. Therefore, their gap, they need 16 listings. They've signed 3. They still need 13 more listings. They need 26 more sales for $5.1 million. They have 65 days to list, 88 days to sell. The magic is right here. Just go to the bottom right-hand corner. This is now my team meeting. This is now my agent one-on-ones, either for yourself or with your team. This week, guys, we got to get 2 listings signed, sell 3 houses for $450,000. If I go to a different account to show you, and this is always kind of a tricky time of year because it transitions into a new quarter. But if I show you like this goal gap as an example, well, they haven't done a 2026 plan yet. So that's a bad demo there. Let me show you one more. Here, this person here was cool. I can see they hit their goal, right? They're crushing it this year. If I go to their goal gap report, they have 88 days to sell for Q1, 70 days to list. They haven't taken a listing yet or sold anything yet. This week, sell 2 or list 2, sell 3 for $650. The bottom right-hand corner is exactly where you got to go, right? Now, based on whatever the goal gap says, I'm going to go back to this one account. If that goal gap number, the weekly number of activities, if that number is like daunting, right? Let's say for this business, it was 7 listings and 9 sales for 1.2 million, right? Which can totally happen if we fall off track. It can totally happen. What you want to do is now I want to go to my listings. Do any of my actives need price corrections, right? How many days on market? Where are we priced at? How much money am I making on each sale? How many coming soon listings do I have? And what's about to hit the market that I think might sell fast, right? Now I want to go see like what can we do this week to hit that goal? Then I want to go to my pipeline and I want to look at how many 10s and 9s I have. I'll explain to you what this is really fast. I won't spend too much time on this. but you guys are all high-level agents. You guys have been in a lot of different CRMs, I'm sure. Most CRMs have like hot, medium, cold, right? Which I hate. And I hate that because no one knows what the hell hot means. There's like zero definition for it. So now the whole company is like dispersed on what that even means. Or they have like 30, 60, 90. But the problem with that is that John's been labeled 30 days for 6 months. Right? So now I can't trust anything that says 30. Right? Howie, you're like, yep. So the way we do it in Clarity Now, it's crazy literal. I think it's the best way to rank a pipeline. It's a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. A 10 means I'm getting that listing signed this month. Right now it's November 19th. That means I have 11 days if I have a 10, right? On the buy side, it's they will be purchasing a home this month. They're purchasing a home next month. It's crazy literal. So now when I'm looking at my goal gap and I go to my pipeline, how many 10s and 9s do I have? Okay. So now going back to this, I've assessed the business. I know my cash flow, I know my goal gap, and I know what my active listings look like, my coming soons, my pipeline. That's all done now. So now that goes to step two, which is really important. By the way, when you're done with step one, are you going to have some kind of emotional feeling as to what you see? Yes, right? You will know. You will know if things look really good or if things don't look good. It goes to step two, which is determine your management style. This is really important. I think this is critical. This is a really cool graph that I saw a couple years ago, and I think it's awesome. That's why I put it in here. There's a performance line in red, and there's a management line in blue. Okay. So, what I see a lot in real estate as a coach is let's say that we're struggling and our performance is right here. If you can see my screen, maybe I'm not at the bottom, but I'm down near the bottom, right? That's performance. The challenge is our management is usually right around there too. And that's why we screw up. That's why we miss goals. Is our urgency doesn't match reality, right? So if your performance sucks, your management and urgency needs to be high. If your performance is really high, well, don't piss off your team by being crazy urgent all the time. Right? If we're crushing it and people are hitting their goals and you're still micromanaging everybody, I promise you that's also not a good recipe for keeping agents. Right? So, based on your assessment, I now have a feeling and I know, are we currently in a low production and I need higher management? Or are we crushing it and I can afford to be in lower management? Based on that, there's two outcomes. We either have this one, which is low production, high management. So your next steps now are I need to create some urgency. I got to create a competition, right? Some kind of competition, some kind of short sprint. I do think a lot of agents make a mistake in having too long of competitions. I like short sprints. In Clarity Now, just so you guys can see it, I'm gonna go back to my demo account here. 1 second. I'll just show you guys quickly where this is. Right here, down at the bottom. I can create a competition on call it whatever I want based on basically anything in the system, dials, contacts, appointments, even custom categories. I can invite whoever I want to the competition. Start date, end date. Do you want to be included in this? Hit submit. And now I officially have a competition with a leaderboard. So now I created some urgency. I can put this on the big screen. I can do whatever I need to do. But step one, if we're in low production, we need higher management, go create a competition. Okay. Next, leaderboard for visibility and accountability. I just showed you that too. There's other leaderboards in Clarity Now as well and reports. You can actually create a leaderboard on anything in the system, literally anything. So you can create custom leaderboards and throw it up on the TV. But I want to do that. If I'm in low production, high management, I got to do that. Then I want to dive into my lead generation and conversion reports. This goes hand in hand with this, which I love. It's Keith Cunningham's growth funnel. Keith Cunningham wrote a book called The Road Less Stupid, if you guys have heard that or read that before. And it's a really cool book. And this is a cool funnel for thinking about a business, frankly. I'll go through this fast. I won't spend too much time on it. But the top of the funnel is I need to keep more customers, right? Now, this is speaking to business in general. Like in my business and software, I definitely need to keep more customers. I don't want people canceling. That's a problem if they cancel. right? So I got to keep more customers. Then I need to increase the number of referrals and repeats. That would be your database. Define and enhance your certainty of success. We need to have a better training process. We need to increase our conversion percentages. Maybe I can sell in a different neighborhood and increase my transaction size. This one doesn't really work in real estate, but increase the frequency of a purchase. You'll notice the bottom is officially I need more leads. In real estate, we always go to we're struggling, we need more leads. You don't, more times than not. You don't need more leads. You got to keep more customers, do a better job with your database, get better with your skill set, increase your conversion percentages. We have to get better, right? We don't want to bring in more leads and not do good. That's not a solution. We need to get better at what we have and optimize it and then increase our leads. In Clarity Now, you just do that here in lead gen and conversions. I can see conversion ratios for everybody and for the company, set to held, held to taken, taken to pended, listing side, buy side, dials to contacts, and also custom tracking categories. So literally, no matter what you want to track, you can track it with reporting. So now I've done lead gen and conversions. Now I want to actually improve my training, right? High management. Let's actually have a couple meetings on skill set development, right? At the end of the week, repeat to step one. Go back to assess on Monday. Check the financials. What's the goal? Have we made enough progress to change these numbers yet? If so, great. If not, repeat the competition, more accountability, continue skill set development, etc. Now, if I have high production, low management, right? I've earned the right, going back to like I got to earn the right to work on that stuff. Your cash flow is great, your goal gap is easy, your team is humming. Now I'm in high production, low management. That's where I get to work on some vision building. I get to work on recruiting. I get to work on system development. Where can we become operationally more efficient, right? And at the end of the week, go back to step one and assess. We're still there? Cool, let's continue. Go back and stop and assess. Oh no, things have dropped. All right, well, now let's run a competition, right? So this is just a framework for how to think about your business throughout the year and really hopefully keep you on track to hit the goal. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback. Come off mute if you don't mind. Hopefully there's a handful of ahas and thoughts and comments here. What do you guys think of this? Do you like this framework? How will you start?
Yeah, I do. I wrote down a question and maybe we'll talk about this at the end, but I think it's amazing. But I am the broker and the owner and the business mind.
Sure.
What have you witnessed is the best structure for adoption and implementation?
Yeah, good question. It's adoption of the agents, getting the agents to use it. Yeah, it's a good. That's always the tough one, right? And here's the truth. This is how I say it. Find out the best answer. But to me, it comes from the top down, the leadership realizing how important it is to coach and guide our people, have a business plan based on net, and then stay focused on helping them hit their goals. And if I'm doing that as a leader and the agent it simply isn't showing up, that's not on me, right? I mean, that's the challenge with this industry is of, 100 agents in your office, I bet you 30 of them will love this. And I bet you another 20 to 30 will
Yeah,
love it
10,
eventually.
10.
10, come on. And then there's going to be a handful like there. And that's just the struggle with this industry. But I do think it needs to come top down from leadership. My coaching clients,
We,
drill them until it's a thing, and then they thank me for it because it's important.
yeah. I mean, we struggle with that with AMP, Andrea and Shauna. You know what I mean? Like get an agent buy-in, adoption, implementation, using it, leaning into it. It's just a constant struggle. CRMs are the same thing. I mean, it's just a constant challenge.
It's just the industry we're in. Yeah, I wish there was a better answer for you, honestly, but it's just the truth. They have to care about it. I wish in a way that we were like fellow, where it's like, sexy leads, right? That sounds awesome. But I like numbers. So we built a number company. So you have to care about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we do have integrations, by the way. We have integrations with Follow Boss and QuickBooks, and we're about to integrate with KW Command, and we're going to keep the list of integrations. So that will continue to help with implementation, is to making the data easier. But that's the start. But as far as the framework, what did you love about it? What did you like take out of it? What was stuck out at you?
I think for me, it just is it puts the whole like numbers games and accountability and everything into a one nice, neat, simple, easy product to follow.
Thank you.
Hmm.
Andrew, anything to add?
It just takes the guesswork out of it. And for the people who choose to play full out, like to Howie's point, like you're gonna have people accountability or resistant to accountability until they realize that they actually get the life to lean into it.
Yep. 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 I had a client one time. This is a personal story, but I had a coaching client one time. Wonderful lady. I really love her. She's awesome. Really good person, awesome mother. But she was an excuse maker, right? And we all know those people. And she had a good business, by the way. It just wasn't as good as it could have been. And she had a daughter who was 15 who was about to turn 16. And she had a plan for the type of car she wanted to buy her daughter for her birthday. And she goes, I want to get my daughter X, right? I forgot what it even was, but we had 6 months to accomplish it. And I said, okay, great, let's make it happen. So I'd coach her and hold her accountable and do all the things. And she just would keep showing up with excuses, right? And her daughter turned 16 and she got a car that was half of what she desired initially, right? Um, and as a great coach, I made sure she knew that her daughter paid the sacrifice for her lack of discipline. That's a throat punch, right? I get it. I know. But as leaders, their families struggle by this not being important to them. So it's our job to help them with that, and it's their job to choose to, take the help.
Come on, you're telling me we live in a world where choices have consequences?
Unfortunately, the answer is yes.
What?
What else did you guys take out of this on the framework as a whole? What other ahas did you guys have? Someone else come off mute if you can. Cool. All right. So there's I put in the chat box here. We have an offering right now because it's Black Friday. So it's our best offer we've frankly have ever had. So if you guys do like this and you want to use it, click the link. We have a free 14-day trial to start. But our pricing, we really only have one competitor in the space, by the way. It'd be Sisu. And by the way, for fun, the three things I really showed you guys, which is a business plan based on net, the goal gap to keep you on track, and the P&L, are all three things they don't offer. So we just approach this problem a lot differently. We're totally different in how we approach this. Also, we're not insane on price. They're insane on price. Our normal pricing is 199 for a team or 99 for an individual. A team comes with 3 seats. That link for Black Friday, it's 40% off for 12 months, which is a pretty crazy offering. So you get a free 14 days and then 40% off for the remainder of the next 12 months. I heard you guys say your brokerage. We also do have an enterprise plan where the office would pay for it for the agents. And there's actually a couple sponsorship slots on the homepage to offset the investment. If you are interested in that, just shoot me a direct email. I'll put my email in here too, and we can talk about that. But my goal is to help more agents understand their numbers, and then ultimately build a company that is worth a lot of money for my kids. That's my goal here. But I hope this was of value to you guys. I booked an hour for us. I knew it wouldn't take an hour, so I have plenty of time for Q&A. It can be about Clarity Now or not. I am a coach, so if you guys have something different to talk or ask about, by all means, I have the time. Anybody have any specific questions?
What do you see as most successful in making this a for when launching it to the team? How do you make it recognition based so they're not afraid of it?
Yeah, good question. I think the leaderboards are critical. It's the old-fashioned peer pressure. I think it's a bad word these days, but I think that the tactics still totally work. People don't like to see their name at the bottom, right? So I think the leaderboards is really important. Again, I'll show you that how that works really fast. Is within the system, the way we built it is we have daily categories. This is like the lead generation tracking. This is the standard stuff that comes in the system. Dials, appointments, contacts, kind of real estate 101, right? But people want to track different stuff and they generate business different ways today, which is fine. So we give you the ability to click new category and type in whatever the hell you want. So then when I click on my daily tracking on my new, all of my custom categories are now down below. And when you're doing leaderboards, you can create a leaderboard on anything in the system, including your custom categories. So here would be a leaderboard on Facebook messages as an example. And here it is if there's data in it. And I can click on this and expand it. And now I actually have a TV. So I think the leaderboard's the first one. The other thing that I would say is again from management top down, what I see work best. Let me answer this by what I see work the worst, work the least, the worst case scenario, however you want to word it, is an office will sign up for it because they know it's important and they know they should, but they never talk about it. No one in a brokerage knows it, right? And it just kind of sits on the shelf and no one even knows it's a thing. Don't do that. So it's best if one person in a brokerage just becomes the ClarityNow guy or girl. And you do a monthly training on it. We keep doing one-on-ones on it. We have leaderboards. We can create. Other cool thing with this on the enterprise side is you can create brokerage-wide competitions. So now everyone in the brokerage can compete in a competition versus just like the individual account. That's also a pretty cool feature too. Did that help, Andrew? That made sense? What other questions do you guys have? Kyle, Steve, Randall, Bobby, Adam?
Jeremy, are you ever coming out with commission paying capability connecting like Bold Trail does, back office Bold Trail?
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I mean, integrations is basically the future. The product itself, I think, is probably 85% built with like what it should have.
That's what it seems like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can overdevelop software, right? So I don't think there's a few more reports I want to add. I definitely want to build an AI component where I can ask it questions and have it give me the answers of my business. I think that's critical. But beyond that, the future is really just connect to everything. So yeah, so I would love to know what if you were the CEO and you were in charge of the development team, what would you connect to first?
I don't know the answer to that. All I will tell you, we are in an industry where there's like these people do this piece, and then you gotta pay this people do these piece, and then this people does this piece, and it's like, can somebody just put everything together and make it simple for us?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now the way like our follow-up boss integration works, by the way, I'll show you this really fast because this is how most CRMs will probably operate, is in the transaction section. All we really need is the transactional data. Everything else is just reporting off of that data, right? So,
Mhm.
for example, this is our form. So it's a pending, it's a listing, it's a resale or referral or whatever,
Yep.
contract dates, client information, what is the source, sales price, and then commission. And this can be
Yep.
either a percentage or a flat rate.
Hmm.
Typically, the way CRMs work is all of this will come over because a lot of the stuff is in most CRMs. What is almost never in any CRMs is splits, right? So, for example, whose sale is this? It's Liam's sale. Are you paying a referral fee? Yes, it's a
Hmm.
referral fee of 25%. Now, team member compensation. Well, Liam is going to make his 35%, right? And then maybe the next person, Fiona, is our director of sales. She makes 5%. And then maybe John is our transaction coordinator and he's making 250 bucks.
Hmm.
Plus, I'm paying my broker, 10%, right? And then now I have my total commission, my cost sale, my gross profit. What almost never comes over is this whole breakdown of who's getting paid what.
Hmm.
So what typically happens, like with Follow Up Boss, is the transaction will come through minus that data. And
Hmm.
this line here, this whole transaction field line will be red, letting you know it's incomplete. And then you just go back in and add your cost of sale.
Hmm.
So that's most CRMs. Um, I'd love to find a way for splits to come over too, but most systems don't require that.
Hmm. Yeah, we currently use Dot Loop as our signature.
Yep.
And then we fill out a form in Dot Loop that's integrated with the Bold Trail that does all that commission split for us.
But Bold Trail does the splits based on the dot loop.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. I need to learn more about how that works. So in theory, as long as the APIs are available on their end, that could also come over.
Yeah.
Which I guess they are, or else the
Yep.
integration would be with dot loop then, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that feedback. That's great
Hmm.
feedback.
Hmm.
What else? Shauna, you got anything? I know you were driving, but you also engaged. So if you're available, say something. If not, it's totally cool. Sean, I think I met with your team once, by the way. So I'd love to see you guys hop on as customers if you guys like it. Anything else? I'll give you guys some time back, but I really appreciate you. Click on our site. If you intend on signing up, truly do it now because the sale's crazy. That ends December 1st. So that'll be through Cyber Monday. Send your people to it. Use that link. That's our partnership with Icenhower. So, use that link. And if we can do anything for you, let me know. If you're interested on the enterprise side, shoot me an email. My email's down below, and we can talk about what the cost for the brokerage. It's really not that expensive. And again, it can be offset through sponsorships too, which is kind of cool. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Appreciate your time, and have a powerful rest of the year and a very profitable 2026. Bye.